Hello everyone, I'm Scott Briard. We're back for another episode of the Stock Marketing Show with me.
Kelly Briard.
Kelly is with me. Today's topic is really important because we've had a few instances where clients have ran into these issues. We've had to deal with it head on. It's been pretty serious. So executives of public companies, tell them a bit about today what we're going to cover for them.
Well, we're going to talk about your digital assets, which first and foremost is your website. Your website is your digital front door. So it's the first thing most investors are going to see when they decide to search for your company. And how important it is to maintain control of your own digital asset. That's sort of in a nutshell what we're going to talk about.
Right, and here's the example of why this is important to us and why we've decided today's topic. We had a client have been with us maybe a year or two.
Yeah, a couple of years.
Would have likely bought their domain name quite some time ago. Sometimes we get clients where the domain name is bought from one provider, hosting for their website is from another provider. And sometimes, the first person that built their website bought their domain name. Hopefully they put it in the company's name. We'll touch on that in a moment. But they had this hosting space. So client would have continued paying the previous website designer for that hosting. They may have not attached a credit card because when it came time to renew, no credit card was on file. Hosting fell apart, website went down, and we get the phone call, where's our website? Well, lo and behold, they ignored all the emails that were suggesting that they had a credit card and they updated the web hosting. They never followed through with that. We weren't getting the updates as well, so we had no clue on our end. Fortunately, website was backed up. It did take a day or two to get everything back up and running. But when you're a public company in the middle of live stocks are trading on a Monday afternoon, do you really want your website going down when, you could have had someone in there doing research? So this is important to us because we've just dealt with this.
Right. So it's really important to understand that there are three different components to having a website. There is your domain and your hosting. There is your domain as an asset, which is a separate thing from your hosting. And then there's also how your website is built. What visually you're going to be able to see. Those are three different things, and oftentimes will be three different logins and passwords, and maybe in three different places that you're going to have to go put those things in. And it's really important to make sure that the public company has, or somebody in that company has access and control of those assets, all three of them. Because we've had some situations where we've tried to onboard a client and they're like, well, isn't it just, you can just go and make me a website. I own the domain name, but the hosting is I don't know, their neighbor's son's, I don't know, went to university and took it all with them and they don't have access to it. So it's really important to make sure that you have not only access to your hosting, that you own your own domain name, and that you also have access to the back end of your website to be able to make changes.
So to kind of tie this all together, if you have an office, if you're a public company that has an office, you would never let a third party create your lease, sign your lease, renew your lease, pay your rent every month. And it's the same thing with websites. You want to own the domain name. You want it in the name of the CEO or chairman, at least have it under the corporate name, have the login and password. Hopefully it's in the same provider. We love GoDaddy because you can tie everything together. Buy the domain name there, set it up for renew on the credit card that's on file, pay for your hosting there so your website has somewhere to be hosted, lands under the same umbrella, and then you're able to renew your hosting there as well. And then as well, there's access to, if you have WordPress, you can actually log in through GoDaddy and get access to the WordPress if everybody's dropped the ball and they forget the username and the password to get into WordPress. So have it all under one umbrella. It makes it really easy when you're going to a new company to provide you with services, or if you hire a new staff member, even if that's your case, you really don't want to go, well, domain names at Namecheap, and then we got HostGator hosting the website, and it's built by
Bob's
custom.
your uncle.
I mean, that's a whole other episode, is talking about you don't want it built in custom code. And we're going to do a whole other episode on WordPress and custom coding, but have it all under one throat to choke. Have it all in one place. You can go there, credit card on file, everything renews, and you don't end up in the issues that certain clients of ours have had recently.
Right. I mean, we've run into, even when sometimes when we onboard a client, we've run into a situation where they have their website, they have their hosting, and the website was built in WordPress. We can tell it was built in WordPress, but nobody at the company has a login and password to get in to make any changes. And that is also another impossibility. When you have somebody, even for us, we always make sure our clients have their own login and password so that if we happen to part ways for any reason, they at least still have access to their own asset. That's the same thing as having access to, like, if you're a mining company and you have a project, and that'd be like I don't know, Mother Nature telling you, like, blocking you off your land, like
Right.
same kind of, I mean, not the same kind of concept. I think I just went off into left field there.
That's okay. It's very important too. So another thing to remember is your domain name. You may have spent years spending money on marketing that, printing it on business cards, investor presentations. It's out there in social media, maybe potentially it's linked off all your social media accounts. It's the back end of everybody's email address. We've had CEOs when they've come to us and said, we need to work on this. We don't have access to the domain anymore, so just go buy the .ca and we'll just forget the .com. And they forget that they've got years of branding as a .com. It's in the search engines. It's attached to all of your social media accounts. It's the extension off your entire staff's email. Don't lose a domain name, and don't just think it's so easy to flip from a .ca if you're in Canada or .co.uk if you're in England, wherever you are, to flip the domain extensions, because you just ruin years in branding. And if you're going to have people talk about your company and go, oh yes, I found this great gold company the other day and it's such and such .com. Somebody goes there and there's no website there, or now somebody's got a hold of it and they're pointing it off to, adults' websites, or crazy things have happened. It happened 7 years ago to us. The company I was a director of, somebody got a hold of the domain name, it dropped. It was before I came on board, the .com dropped, and they had it selling sex products on Amazon. Like, you never know what's out there. So Protect your stuff, make sure it's in your name, make sure it's in a company executive's name, and make sure you have it always set up for renewal.
You touched on something really important there, because not only has your domain name also been, like you said, like on your news releases, in your other social media, it's on your business cards, wherever it is, but you touched on something really important, which is your SEO. So that website, if it's been up for 10 years or 5 years, whatever it is, Google is aware of it and has been, going through all of the different portions of your website and ranking them, and more people click on them and all the rest of it. If you suddenly lose that domain name, you've lost that traction that you've gained for like 5 years on when somebody types in, mining company or this type of company, publicly traded company for healthcare or whatever it is. You've kind of lost all of that traction that you would have gained as well. Like, you're starting at ground zero. When you get a new website and a new domain, consider yourself, you're day one at that point. So even if we've had situations where the domain name didn't change, but the entire content of the website changed.
Right.
And you still maintain some of that, as long as you don't change any of your URLs, you're still maintaining a lot of that collateral, I guess you could say, from the SEO benefits, which is also incredibly important, and as like a behind the scenes kind of thing. So
call to action, all of you watching this, head into your team. If you don't have the information, where's the domain name registered? Make sure you got the logins and passwords, and go check the expiry date. And if it is a company, it's a public company, go buy it for 10 years. It might be $10, $15, $20, whatever your renewal rate is. Go buy it for the next 10 years, so you don't have to be concerned about this. Go and lock it up and make sure you have it. Make sure it's in a domain name of an executive or your CFO's name or somebody in the company. Make sure that's there. And then go find your hosting. If it's not with the same provider and it's with someone else, go and check on your hosting. Find out when that service expires. Go pay it for a couple of years in advance. You usually get a nice discount, especially if it's on GoDaddy. And go take control. And if you hire companies that are not stock marketing that are providing this to you, and you don't have access to your domain name and don't know the login and password where it's registered or where you're hosting, go ask them for copies, tuck it away in the safe, make sure you have it for the day that you go online at 9:30 in the morning when the market's open and your website's down and you panic. It's better to have this content now than when you're really, SOL at that point.
100%. I totally agree.
Awesome. Another great episode. Subscribe to us. YouTube, all of our social media, stock marketing. Where else should we send them?
Our website.
Our website, stockmarketing.ca. Make sure to leave your email address for future newsletters, email
all this information in the below this video.
And YouTube as well.
Yeah, in the description. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thanks.
We're excited to be here.
Bye.